Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing one battle after another.
And I cannot remember for the life of me or the life of my only child the answer to your question, what time is it? 8:15. Now I need this rendezvous point. You understand what I'm saying? I need it.
I understand. And the question is, what time is it?
So I have just watched this. This is very fresh, literally as of 30 minutes ago. Kind of might be undercooked. I hope not, but let's see.
Piping from the oven.
So true. Literally, I've seen the trailers for this film, and I was like, I don't mind Paul Thomas Anderson. I think he's a good director. I enjoyed Licorice Pizza, but this trailer makes this film like so meh, right? And then some of the early reviews came out, and they were like, "Oh, this is like one of the best films I've seen this year." I was like, "Okay, let's see." And I was only able to watch this in my local IMAX because that was the only screen it was playing in because of some changes happening to my local cinema. Don't worry about that. But honestly, normally I would say like it was fine. I didn't think I needed IMAX aside from just the final act. And I'll come to that at the end. That's like your little hook for the end. But let me start with the film. So yeah, the film starts with Leonardo DiCaprio and Teyanna Taylor's characters who are part of this revolutionary group. And it literally starts at a detention center.
Okay.
At like these immigrants who are in detention centers and this revolutionary group who is breaking them out. Right. And immediately when seeing this, I was like, it's starting at like the US-Mexico border. It's about immigrants in detention centers. I was like, is the trailer look so boring just because they didn't want the US president to find out what this film is about?
I mean, fair enough. A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. The movie is released and it's saying what it's saying.
Yeah. And basically, then it kind of escalates, right? Of these revolutionaries who we later learn on the film who call themselves the French 75, who are blowing up banks, are like trying to blow up this place where because of a senator who passed a law, like making abortion horror, stuff like that, you know? Something we could very argue is revolutionary leftist politics, right?
Yeah.
And I come to this like of characters and how you can read this film in like one way, how I've chosen to read it, right? And then you have basically Teyanna Taylor's character, who's called Perfidia, who kind of enjoys the act of being a revolutionary more than necessarily the motive or the mission behind it, right?
Sure.
And you can see that in like her character as well, where she is kind of reckless in how she does things because she's enjoying the thrill of things, right? And even after like there's a romance between her and Leonardo DiCaprio's character who's called Bob, right? But he has multiple names in this film. I'm just going to call him Bob right now because that's the one I remember.
He feels like a Bob.
He feels like a mom. And then like they have a child together. Like, and Perfidia was never meant to be a mom, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't just even mean that necessarily in a bad way. It's just she never wanted kind of to be a mom necessarily. And you can see that the grasp that revolutionary life has on her is not able to let her go and like is jealous of her child for and risks her own like leaves behind her family to go to it, right? And I think that's like kind of just the prologue for the film, right? Perfidia gets like, and spoilers now, Perfidia gets arrested, kind of rats out stuff, and then Leonardo DiCaprio, Bob, and his daughter have to go to in hiding. This is like kind of the prologue for the film. It sets up these revolutionaries, and now you have then Sean Penn's character, Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw. I'm just going to call him Lockjaw.
Yeah.
Who again is such a weird guy, but in such a good way. This man continuously walks like he's walking at 1.2x speed somehow. I can't explain it more. That he just feels like he's walking seemingly like a normal pace. He's not running, but he's also not walking. He's just walking at a pace that shouldn't work for some reason.
Okay, that's a character choice.
Weird guy who Tiana has a brief affair with, right? It's weird. There's a lot of power dynamic stuff. Perfidia being the one who is having that power dynamic, right? So when we start, like, basically what has happened is they've caught someone and now they're trying to track Bob and his daughter. His daughter is called Villa, who's played by Chase Infiniti. And I think
Okay.
this is genuinely where the film like really also tackles in of like how Bob is still part of the revolution, but does not remember any of like the big like passwords, doesn't remember a lot of like the revolutionary materials, the codes, everything. This
Mm.
man has been high for so long and has kind of forgotten it. And it's kind of just like going through, and there's like multiple scenes where he's like, I don't care. I don't remember what the passwords are. Just tell me the rendezvous point.
Classic Bob behavior.
Classic Bob behavior. And then like the tensions keeps escalating as they're trying to fight off Lockjaw as he's trying to track them, as they're trying to reunite as well because they get separated. And like it ends with like last, I would say 10-minute chase sequence, which is so elegant and simplistically done. It's not a chase sequence in the way that you're thinking, like any modern chase thing. Three cars going up and down hills, which are very steep. So hills that you go up and you can't see down from behind, right?
Whoa.
Very think of like roller coaster
Yeah.
type hills. A black car, a white car, and a blue car. Villa running away. This other guy who's chasing her, probably trying to kill her. And then Bob trying to chase after that guy.
Mm-hmm.
No one really knowing what's happening. And it's acting as such a brilliant way to talk about the film as well, which is again the point of like being a revolutionary and not knowing what's ahead and not being able to dictate some of the terms and like reactionary politics as well, and like trying to like just that sequence has a lot of like messaging and themes behind it, but it's
Yeah.
also just shot so well. It's shot in such a simple small way. The score is so wonderfully done. I think the score and throughout this film really works so well. The music is composed by John Greenwood, and I think he does an incredible job, and it's laid out so well. So again, also credit goes to the editor, Andy Jurgensen, who also does this really
Yeah.
well, as well as the cinematography by Michael Bauman. Like, I mean, in that final sequence, everything sings, and it's just so well done. Like, genuinely, I was biting my nails.
That sounds like, I feel like it gets you into thriller mode.
Yeah, but again, not in a thriller in anything you've seen, like in how you would think about in the last 15 years. A thriller in like how Hitchcock would do a thriller, or like 70s film would do a thriller, where it's so simple and like you're just using very simple things to establish it, but you're using the crust of what makes a thriller work, right?
Sure, yeah.
So I've mentioned like all of the themes, and I think this is like what the central theme of it. When it is one battle after another, it is talking about both the battle of like fighting against like authoritarian forces, fascist forces, right, which is represented by the government, which is represented by white nationalists and like racists. Like
Sure.
genuinely, there's a racist group where Lockjaw is part of that's also trying to hunt down them. Right? It's also the battle is also very personal and familial, and trying to like just rescue his daughter is that one battle after another for Bob as well. So I think it's also doing that. And I think again, when you are watching the film, I think how I chose to read it was also that I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson, again, who's also written this film, is trying to like say that all revolutionaries are like the way that Perfidy was, right? Where she was just for the thrill of it, or like, or all people trying to fight against these forces are too bogged down in passwords and stupid stuff like that, or like stupid ideologies and safe spaces and kind of stuff. Because you have characters like Benicio del Toro's characters who plays this sensei, right? Who's just so on it, who's just so calm and collected, who knows exactly what to do at all times, who's helping Bob through so many things, right? Same thing like Regina Hall's character, Deandra, and there are these nuns at the end as well. So all of these characters feel like they know their shit. They're not part of this whole, but they're on it. They are also doing revolutionary things. For example, like Benicio del Toro's character has multiple asylum seekers or refugees in his house, and who's like taking care of them, giving them jobs and food and stuff like. And he has a whole game plan. It's like, okay, these people are coming in, you go here, you go here, you go here. We're all sorted, knows what to do, does not fail a bit. The person who's failing is Bob.
Of course.
So I think the way I read it was like, Paul Thomas Anderson is clearly saying that, no, these people matter. Sometimes people do get bogged down in like unnecessary, needless shit. But definitely saying of like, no, we need those people there. Those people are doing good work, you know?
Yeah.
Which I also don't think is untrue.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like we live in such like polarized times where you can be this or that I appreciate any amount of nuance that we get to see in, popular media.
Yeah. So I think that was just a really good way of saying it. And I really enjoyed that whole depiction of everything. And I think, yeah, fact that the whole film just works together so well in certain parts just shows the direction of it was well crafted. It's just a well crafted film at the end of the day,
Yeah,
right? And there are certain points of this where I feel like tonally it goes a bit off, but that's something I felt towards other Paul Thomas Anderson films as well, right? Like sometimes I feel it becomes a tonally a
fair.
bit too striking, but I mean, that's like just a director's style, right? Every director has their little fingerprints on a film, and I think that is one of his fingerprints. It is funny. It is genuinely really funny when it needs to be, right? It's well
Yeah,
acted. Like again, Sean Penn is again so weird but so good.
I mean, he's weird because he's good.
Yeah. Then you have Teyanna Taylor, who's really wonderful. Chase Infinity. And listen, I know Leonardo DiCaprio can be a weird guy as well in his own ways, weird being charitably put. But man, he can
Yes.
act. Like, again, this is not a hot take. This is not new news for anyone. But he does his role so well. The way his character is written has so much depth that he does pull off really well. It's, again, man can act. And it's just like, you're like, oh, god damn it. Sometimes you're weird, bro. Like, come on. But he can act and he's a good actor. He's a solidly good actor. And I think a lot of this film works because of his character and how he plays it. Even when he's like kind of a loser, kind of being stupid or like messing up, you
Sure.
still feel there's a lot to him and like the part of his personality. So yeah, I think solid watch, good film. I probably will say this is gonna get nominated for the Oscars. I don't think it's going to win. I don't think it's my favorite film of the year. But with the subject material, with like Paul Thomas Anderson, I would be surprised if it doesn't show up.
Yeah, it feels like a very natural, reflexive choice for at least a nomination.
Yeah, it's Oscar bait, but it's Oscar bait done well.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, no one's mad at that.
Yeah, so those were our thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. If you enjoyed this, please do share it. See you again next time.
Bye bye.